Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Christopher with Plan Your Adventures, and in today's video we are continuing our Planning a Walt Disney World Vacation series. So I've already done a couple videos and I'll make sure the playlist is linked for you so you can keep going down the list. We've already talked about an overview, we talked about budgeting and picking your dates. The next big step in this journey of planning a magical vacation to Walt Disney World is choosing the right resort for you and your family. So that is what we're going to focus on today. We're going to talk about all of the different options and perks and begin to narrow down what may be the right fit for you and your vacation. I will also say this is a huge thing that I focus on with my clients. While we're in the quoting process, I will present lots of different options. There's not really a right answer, but there is definitely certain resorts that will be better based on what you're looking for, what vibes you're looking for, what your budget is, what parks you're going to. All of those things can help determine what resort would be the right fit for you. So I am going to mention again here that I am a Disney travel planner. So it's totally free to work with me. So if you don't want to have to do a lot of this work, or if you want to have that expert opinion and resources and somebody in your back pocket, send me a message today or fill out the quote form below. I'd love to help plan a magical trip for you. But without further ado, let's dive into the Disney World resorts. So I have just a little note sheet so we don't miss one, because there's a lot of Disney hotels. When I mention a Disney resort, I'm talking about the different hotels, okay, in this case. So there are different categories of hotels based on budget, mainly. It also, the deluxe hotels, they're a higher price, but there's also going to be more amenities, more transportation offerings potentially. So we're going to break down and look at each of the resorts very briefly today, but also talking about as a whole some of the different things that you want to think about. So when you are in the process of trying to figure out what resort you want to stay at, let's first talk about why a Disney resort. You may be able to find something cheaper, miles down the road. So what's the perks of actually staying at a Disney resort? There are quite a few, but the main ones that my clients really appreciate is the transportation. You have free transportation to all of the parks and Disney Springs on property. So once you're at your resort, once you get there from the airport or you drive in, you kind of can stay in this whole Disney bubble. Every staff member that you talk to is a Disney cast member. You get free transportation that runs constantly. Okay, some off-site hotels may say they have transportation to the parks, but really they have a bus that runs a couple times a day and you have to arrange your schedule around that. For the Disney hotels, transportation comes either rapidly or like every 15 minutes. So it's very convenient. That's one of the largest perks. One of the other really large perks is that you actually get into all of the parks 30 minutes before park opening every single day. So if the park opens at 9, you can get in and start riding rides at 8:30. That may not seem like a huge deal, but I promise you it is. You can get a lot of things done in that first half hour when there's not a lot of people in the park. And then it also gives you a leg up on rope droppers. So even at that 9 o'clock time, you can still be enjoying lower park entry or lower crowds in the park. If you stay at a deluxe resort, which we'll talk about which ones those are in a little bit, those actually also get deluxe extended evening hours on certain nights. So throughout the calendar year, there's different parks that will offer 2 hours after the park closes just to deluxe guests. So that's a huge perk for those guests as well. The other thing is really just the vibes and the Disney magic, right? Disney is such an amazing product. Even taking out like the childish or like the amusement park rides, the Disney brand is deluxe and really nice. Even the value resorts, you get an elevated level of service with that Disney magic. You're going to get things like Disney characters in the lobby at certain times throughout your stay. You're going to have activities and amazing kids entertainment staff that is at the pool or doing, tie-dyed t-shirts or different things like that. It's just the Disney theming throughout the resort. It's the Disney magic that everybody really loves and why you keep coming back. And like I mentioned, that Disney bubble, while you're staying in the bubble the whole time you're here, you can kind of keep that Disney magic alive. It is really, really special. So, and then, we talked about the transportation, but just the location. I mean, some of these resorts are a walking distance to a park. You're not going to get that with an off-site hotel. So those are just a couple of the reasons why literally 99.999% of my clients stay at a Disney resort. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. And there really is a resort for everyone's budget. For example, Disney's running a promotion throughout the summer right now. A lot of the all-star resorts for certain dates over the summer are $99 a night. That's not, their standard price is a little higher than that, like maybe $150 on average, $175 is what I usually see, $130, but $99 a night, that's pretty good for those perks and still being in the Disney bubble. So let's start diving into the resorts themselves. So the value resorts are going to be your entry level. They're the most affordable options on property. So there's a couple of those. We have all-star music, all-star movies, and all-star sports. They're all kind of in one complex, but they're right next to each other, 3 different resorts. This is your most affordable. So if you're looking for the cheapest Disney hotel, this is most likely going to be it if it's available. The rooms they're very nice and modern. They were recently, refurbed. It's modern in there. The beds are very nice. A lot of these value resorts are going to have one main bed and then a pull-down bed from the wall. So it's typically like maybe it'll be a table, or in some of the deluxes, maybe it's a couch, but it's like a table that turns into a bed. But that mattress, I've slept on it. It still is a thick, nice mattress. These are, I don't want to say motel style, but I hope that it's not like an interior, right? A lot of Disney resorts, the doors of your hotel room is actually exterior facing. So think of it that way. There's a lot of smaller buildings too. So it's not like one tall tower. In this case, it's a lot of smaller buildings. The theming of these resorts are some of the more fun resorts across property. You have that in-your-face Disney theming. So if you have young kids or kids that are really into that, even if you have a higher budget, maybe some of these values are a good choice for you. So obviously, all-star music will have that music flair. All-star sports, there's going to be like football and basketball, and I'm not a sporty person, but like that kind of stuff. And then all-star movies is my favorite of the all-stars because you dive into some of the movies and have some great, big, larger-than-life character statues out throughout the resort. The other value resorts are Art of Animation, which has really fun theming throughout as well, really diving into the characters and larger-than-life statues, and Pop Century. Those are right next to each other, and they share a Skyliner station. This is a huge perk for a value resort. We're going to talk about transportation later, but just table that. This could be, if you want a value, this could be your choice because of that Skyliner station there. But the theming at Pop Century is very nice as well. Has those modern, recently refurbished rooms as well. Art of Animation, those rooms actually are themed to different movies. So the standard room over there is the Little Mermaid rooms, but they also have family suites that are like Lion King, Finding Nemo, and Cars theming. So that's really fun too. If I didn't mention, All-Star Music also has family suites. They're not themed to a movie necessarily, but there are larger rooms. If you have a family that has more than like 4 or 5 people, that may be a good option to look into. So that's our values. There's not going to be sit-down restaurants at these resorts, but there's a great big cafeteria style for quick grab-and-go food options. There still is going to be pools throughout the resorts. There's just less amenities, if that makes sense, but still the whole Disney magic. Typically, these prices are going to be, I want to say, between like an average of $130 to like $280 depending on like timing, but that's an average. So pricing absolutely can vary quite a bit. Obviously, if you're doing a family suite, that can be much, much more than that. It just depends. So if you're looking for current pricing and availability, you can reach out to me and I can send a quote over for you. But that's your entry level, okay? Next step up are our moderate resorts. So these resorts, as we keep going up the ladder, the deluxe level or like the amenities just increases a little bit. So a lot of these moderate resorts will have different transportation, so you're not just having buses to the parks. So let's just go one by one. So the first ones are Caribbean Beach Resort. This is a very large resort, but it's great theming. It's great like for those summer vibes, even if you're here in the winter, but you want a little like tropical getaway. You can dive into all the beach amenities around the resort. There's sandy areas, great pool area, but Caribbean Beach Resort also has access to a Skyliner station. So tuck that in the back of your brain. Next, we have Port Orleans. There's 2 resorts here. French Quarter, which obviously gives that like New Orleans, like French Quarter vibe. And then you have Riverside. I personally prefer French Quarter. It's a much smaller resort, more intimate, but Riverside is beautiful and has more, like a bigger dining area and a bar. Like there's a little bit more over at Riverside because it is a larger resort. But they're sister resorts. They're right next to each other. And the cool thing about them is they have a boat that will actually get you to Disney Springs because those resorts are close to Disney Springs. We're doing very quick overviews in this video. There's so much to explore about each of these resorts, so like just take this all with a grain of salt. And if you have specific questions, you can reach out to me and we can look at which option is going to be best for your family. Next moderate is actually Fort Wilderness has campsites and cabins. So if you're really into like that camping vibe, that could be an option for you. I'm not as familiar with those, but yeah, if you like that wilderness campy vibe, there are actually campsites and cabins at Disney that you can stay at too. And the last moderate is my personal favorite, Coronado Springs Resort. This one, it is just bus transportation, but the reason I love this resort is there is a tower. It's called the Grand Destino Tower. Those rooms are a little more expensive than like the standard rooms around the resort. But if you like that deluxe hotel feeling with a tall tower and deluxe amenities, this is the resort for you. I like it because it's that moderate price point, but you feel like you get those deluxe amenities of a deluxe resort. There's beautiful bars and lounges and restaurants in this tower. It's absolutely stunning. I show it a lot on my channel. I just like to go and work from there for the day. But that is Coronado Springs Resort. That brings us to deluxe resorts. There are a ton of these, so I'm gonna kind of rapid fire a little bit. Oh, let me say moderate. Average pricing for that is probably like in the 300. You know, sometimes we can see some in the 200 range. Sometimes we see higher 300. So like, think maybe 280 to 380 is like maybe a good ballpark average per night there. Obviously, if you're looking to stay in the Grand Destino Tower, that could go up a little bit, you know, and just depends on the time of year. Deluxe resorts, this is where there's a much larger range of pricing. I've seen $400 a night, but some rooms are $900 a night. Just depends on, you know, what kind of view. Do you have a resort view? Do you have a theme park view right into the parks? So the deluxe resorts as a whole are the closest proximity to the parks. So let's start with the Magic Kingdom Loop. These 3 resorts are on the monorail loop. Mind blown. It is so convenient to get to and from Magic Kingdom. And you can even transfer to Epcot. So these resorts are the Contemporary, Grand Floridian, and the Polynesian. These are typically 3 of the more expensive deluxe resorts. They are fabulous, different theming. You know, Polynesian has that Hawaiian flair, some Moana elements. Contemporary actually has Incredibles theming throughout the resort. but it's like your quintessential Disney resort. And then Grand Floridian is like the closest we would get to like a Four Seasons vibe, okay? It's very deluxe and bougie and just very grand and regal. But those are lovely resorts for the families that want to spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom or have late nights at Magic Kingdom. It's so convenient. We also, though, have Wilderness Lodge, which is a beautiful resort. It gives that like rustic wilderness feeling, but you're in a resort. It's not like you're camping. It's still a very deluxe resort, which I love Wilderness Lodge. For this one, there's a boat that takes you to Magic Kingdom. So it's not on the monorail loop, but there is a boat. Let's go over to Epcot. There are some resorts in that area. We have Beach and Yacht Club, which if you want a good pool, these are your resorts. I love Beach and Yacht. They have a fabulous pool area that has a lazy river. It is breathtaking. And it's walking distance to Epcot and just a short boat ride over or a longer walk to Hollywood Studios. So you get 2 parks at this one. The Boardwalk Resort is right across the waterway, so you can walk or boat to Hollywood Studios and Epcot. This resort has some great entertainment because there's like a boardwalk area. So there's like a pizza stop, there's a margarita cart, great restaurants right there on the boardwalk, and bars and lounges, as well as some entertainment that will come out at certain times, like whether it's a magician or like hula hoops or jump ropes, cool like boardwalk type entertainment. Animal Kingdom Lodge is our next resort in the deluxe category. Sometimes these rooms are the cheapest. So if you want like the cheapest deluxe resort, Animal Kingdom Lodge is typically our go-to. This resort is very special. There is a savannah at this resort. Yes, you heard that right. A full savannah. Certain rooms have a savannah view. So like you can wake up in the morning, go out to your balcony and enjoy a savannah view. Are you kidding me? With giraffes or zebras or birds or amazing. There's also really great dining. All of the deluxe resorts have that sit-down dining element that the values don't have. But Animal Kingdom Lodge has some fabulous food options. So foodies typically like a deluxe resort because there's really great dining at the deluxe ones. But that's Animal Kingdom Lodge. It is a bus to Animal Kingdom, but it's so short. It's so short. What did I miss? Okay, that is it for the deluxe category. But you're like, Christopher, what about the X, Y, and Z? Yes, those are considered DVC resorts. So there's actually a step above deluxe that is our Disney Vacation Club villas and suites and things like that. But there are still options here. So Riviera Resort is really close to Epcot. I love the theming of this resort. It takes you to like the Riviera, and there's great dining here. It's a tower resort, so if you like to be in a tower with an elevator, this is another good option. But it has a Skyliner station, so super convenient for Epcot and also Hollywood Studios. We also have Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa. This one has a boat that will get you to Disney Springs, and it's another really big resort. All of these that we're talking about, they have like 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom villas. Like they're a lot larger spaces. So if you have a large family and a larger budget, we could look at like a 2 or 3-bedroom beautiful villa with kitchens and multiple bathrooms. But a lot of them also have studios as well, which are typical standard hotel room kind of style with just 1 room and 1 bathroom. So we can still look at all of these. You don't have to be a Disney Vacation Club member. I can still reserve all of these rooms for you as your travel agent. I'm missing one, Old Key West Resort. This is one most people don't talk about. I don't quote it too often, but it is a really cute resort. It has a boat over to Disney Springs, and I actually have a video already up on the channel where we kind of walked around there. So this is just another option. It definitely gives that like Old Key West, Florida kind of beachy vibes for sure. There are other DVC resorts that are attached to other deluxe resorts. So I won't get into that too much, but for example, you have the Contemporary Resort, but then there's also Bay Lake Tower, which is attached to that, but you can have a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom villa in those situations. So there are other DVC type resorts, but they're attached to a resort that we've already talked about. I think I got them all. Again, this was an overview of going through all of them. More resorts could be, in a couple years, I may need to do another one of these videos because there is some other ones in the works. Maybe theming will change. But as of right now, for 2025, 2026, 2027 planning and beyond, this is what we have. And they are fabulous. Disney resorts are magical. They are spectacular. I really recommend, reaching out, and I can present a couple different options for you. We didn't go into too much detail because I don't want this video to be 3 hours long. But depending on what vibe you want from your trip, that should determine as well what kind of vacation. If you want that fun theming and your kids want to run around and play in play areas, there are certain resorts that are better for that, and actually a lot of the values. If you want a deluxe, elevated, adult-only experience, Coronado Springs, the tower, is fabulous. Some of the deluxes. Maybe you have kids that really love animals. Animal Kingdom Lodge, hello, duh, of course. Like I said, maybe you want a couple pool days. Then we want to look at Beach and Yacht Club. As you're thinking about what is the right Disney resort for me, your budget is your number one factor, right? If you don't have $600 to spend a night, let's not even talk about the deluxes. If you have $400, maybe we can talk about deluxes if they go on sale. But if you would rather spend, $150, $200 a night, we have options for you. Easy. We can look at the moderates and maybe even we can look at the values and maybe some of the moderates. So budget is your first factor. I'll show you some options a little outside of your budget in case there's wiggle room. But budget's your first factor. The next factor is how much space do you need? Do you need a villa? Do you need a family suite? Or are you okay in a 4 or 5 person per bedroom situation? And then the next thing is the vibes, like I was saying. Do you want a pool day? Do you want a over-the-top theming? And then you want to think about location. Location. If you want the most convenient, a lot of those deluxes are walkable to parks. But remember those values that I said, hey, Skyliner station. So let's talk quickly about that. So if I mentioned that resort has a Skyliner station, Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Art of Animation, Pop Century. Am I missing any? Maybe. Did I mention it? Skyliner gets you to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Very convenient. I love the Skyliner. Did I mention your resort had a monorail? Well, then that gets you to Magic Kingdom very easily, but you can also transfer and go over to Epcot with that. Did I mention that your resort has a boat? Well, then that is either going to get you to Epcot or Hollywood Studios if it's in that area. Could get you to Magic Kingdom. Could get you to Disney Springs. There's lots of boats, but that is another big form of transportation at the resorts. And then finally, what they all have are buses. So if they don't have one of those other forms, there's still the transportation included. I think I'm getting it all. I'm like, what? There's so much. There's so much that goes into it, which is why working with a Disney travel professional, a travel agent, a travel planner is really, it's a no-brainer. It's free for you. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps support my business, and I have a ton of resources and expertise that I can provide in helping plan a magical vacation for you. So send me an email. Click the link down below, whatever is easiest for you. Let's start planning that magical vacation. I think I'm going to stop rambling. There are off-site properties and good neighbor properties. So if none of this feels right for you and you want to be outside of the bubble, there are other hotel options that I can look at for you. So just reach out and we'll go from there. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this Planning a Walt Disney World series. If you are, please hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for all future content coming your way very soon, and I will see y'all real soon. Thanks so much for watching.